Good afternoon and welcome to 90 Minutes Live, which this afternoon finds us at the JSJ Stadium, New Roker Park, home of Stotfold FC, for our action in the Southern League Division 1 Central. Ware are the visitors this afternoon in a game between two teams aiming at one of those playoff places at the top of the table, or perhaps even more, who knows. Two informed teams as well. Stotfold are top of the form league, having got 11 points from their last 5 games. Ware are 5th. We'll have full live commentary coming up for you from myself, Peter Hill, and basking in the sunshine to my side here is match summariser Simon Alamandi.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pete. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's an absolutely glorious day. I mean, I was even just before we started, just about thinking about taking my coat off. But I mean, it's beautiful little ground. Obviously, it's the first time we've been here, but it's very open. So I imagine when that sun goes in, it will get a bit chilly, so I decided to keep it on.
Yeah, I was beginning to regret putting the big coat on, but as you say, I think we might well need it a little bit later on. It is a lovely ground here, just on the outskirts of the village of Stotfold, which we'll tell you a little bit more about during our half-time sequence. But let's get you up to date with the team news, first of all. Both managers make 3 changes from their last outing. For Stotfold, it was here, beating Kings Langley 2-0. For Ware, it was this time last weekend, drawing at 0-0 at Hadley. So Paul Halsey makes 3 changes to that lineup. Echo Goga, George Irons and Richard Ennin are all in from the start, and what we think will be a formation that'll have Fred Burbage in goal. We're certain about that. 3 at the back, Echo Goga, Darian Furlong and Jack Grosvenor. 2 wing backs, Joe Dearman and David Sota. 2 in midfield, Alex Warman and George Ironson, and then a 3-man front line of Richard Ennin, Theo Afori and John Clements through the middle. The substitutes for Ware, probably the strongest bench they've had for a while: Freddie Moncur, Jack Dreyer, Kieran Bishop, who's back now having served that suspension, Ben Siggers and Mitch Hahn. As far as the home team are concerned, they make 3 changes as well. They'll have Alfie Bonfield in goal, Lewis Franklin, Alex Coppin, James Peters the skipper, Dan Sears, Ryan Frater, Matt Ball, Callum Donnelly, Connor Vincent, Henry Snee, their top scorer, and Aaron Divini. And on the substitutes bench for Stotfold, Callum Kane, Caddy Badge, Mitchell Gooch, Charles Mallet and former Ware player Robbie Buchanan. Our referee is Jordan Gibson, who's head of the academy at Stevenage Football Club, and his assistants are Neil Angus and Nathan Curry. 2 teams are out on the pitch. We're in familiar strip, which is nice to see. Blue and white stripes with blue shirts. Stotfold as well in their first strip of yellow shirts and black shorts.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the referee. I didn't realise, and I didn't see who the ref was, but yeah, that's Jordan Gibson. I did an interview with him during the closed season before. So that's on our YouTube, so you can go and have a look at that. And he speaks all about his refereeing career and his work with Stevenage Development, which was very interesting listen.
Oh, he's the man in the middle. There's not too far to come from Stevenage, just across the way down the A1. 2 skippers in the centre circle, Freddie Burbage for Ware, James Peters for Stotfold. And, we looked at the beginning, Simon saw this Ware lineup. I've tried to piece together the formation, but again, Paul Halsey ringing the changes. He's obviously happy with those clean sheets, but bearing in mind they've kept 2 clean sheets, they haven't scored a goal from open play for 3 games now, bearing in mind the one against Waltham Abbey came straight from a corner.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I know he's happy. The 0-0 draw with Hadley last week, he was pleased to get another clean sheet, as you say, on top of the one against Waltham Abbey. But he did say as well, sort of like, finding that has been a bit of a problem in the last few games. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to to rectify that today. But yeah, it's interesting. We know he's gone with 3 at the back before this season and changed things around a bit. So perhaps this is as you say, a different idea to to find the ball in the back of the net and see how this works.
Well, we'll see how that formation works out. I think I got my formation wrong already because Joe Dearman appears to be playing wide on the left-hand side, but we'll let you know what happens with that as the game progresses. We can tell you that Bailey's here as well. Wolsey's bought the dog, which has not always been a positive sign when Ware have played away this season. So let's hope that Bailey gets to witness his first away win. Ware have only won 5 of 15 away from home. They've lost 9. They really have been a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team this season. You never quite know which one you're going to get. So let's hope we're going to get the positive one this afternoon here at the JSJ. Nice stadium, opened in 2020 for Stotfold, but Simon said very open. We're in the one stand. There's also a covered standing area right opposite us. But apart from that, it's green fields all around. So let's look at that Ware formation. We've got David Soter playing on the left-hand side here. Looks like Theo Afori might have got a job down the right. But we'll see how it works out. Alex Bournemouth may be wearing 2, but he's in his familiar position in central midfield alongside George Ironton, that's for certain. We've got a throw on the halfway line, which Darian Furlong will take towards the box. Up goes John Clements, hooked away and not controlled in the end by Connor Vincent, so we'll get it back inside the Stotfold half. George Ironton will pick it up midway inside the Stotfold half, looks for Theo Ofori. 2 defenders go for the same ball, and Joe Dearman will pick up the scraps on this near side, put it across the box, and well, in the end it was the run to the near post by John Clements, and I thought that was a good chance.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a bright early start for Ware, and a good little cross in, and it looks like it did trouble the keeper a little bit, but positive signs from Ware.
At the other end, Jack Grosvenor goes up. Freddie Burbage has to come out, but Darian Furlong decides to take matters into his own hands. Onto the head of Ryan Frater on the halfway line, but only as far as George Ironton. Looks to set Theo Ofori going down the right-hand side, but Alfie Bonfield, the goalkeeper, comes out and will shepherd it out of play for a goal kick to Stotfold. It's been all or nothing here for them this season. They've won 8, lost 5. Haven't drawn a game here. They've had some notable wins. Beat Biggleswade 6-0, Hartford 5-0, but have also failed to score 4 times away. At home, rather. So their form, rather like Ware's, a little bit in and out, which is why neither of them at the moment are in the top 5. Having said that, with all the controversy about North Lee, it's actually a top 6 we should be looking for the playoffs. Ware trying to come forward as Richard Enning goes down under challenge and gets Ware a free kick some 5 yards inside the Stotfold half. Our commentary position almost right on the halfway line here at the back of the stand at the JSJ. It's called New Roker Park, by the way, because it's built on what was Roker Field. So decided to call it New Roker Park. Nothing to do with Sunderland's old ground. As Ware have got to retake the free kick from the appropriate position, and Darian Furlong has to take it back onto the halfway line on that right-hand side. Jack Grosvenor's come up from the back. Grosvenor makes the run into the box as Furlong's free kick aims for him. Jack goes up, doesn't win the ball. Here's John Clements on the edge of the area. Does well to control the ball, can't get the shot in, and in the end Stotfold scuff it clear as far as Henry Snee. Snee with the curly hair plays the ball off, but Ware will get it back. Header comes in from George Ironton and out for a throw in to the home side. Alex Coppin, 31-year-old in his second spell at Stotfold, will take the throw in right in front of the Rich Shield roofing stand on the far side. As Ware will sort it out. Long ball forward by Alex Warman. John Clements is chasing. Frater will put it all the way back to his goalkeeper. First sight, Alfie Bonfield, not the tallest goalkeeper in the league.
No, he's not, is he? I mean, I think we've said about a couple of other keepers before that aren't exactly, as you say, the tallest in the league, but it's all about ability, isn't it? Obviously height helps a little bit, but he might have a better jumping power and a better jumping height than others.
So Stotfold coming forward. Henry Snee, you can't get hold of it though because Jack Grosvenor's there. Franklin puts it towards the Ware box. Warman heads it down. We're all in for a bit of aerial tennis at the moment. As the ball falls to Henry Snee on the edge of the area, Furlong gets the challenge in, and in the end it's George Ironton who thumps it away to Theo Ofori on that far side. Still inside his own half, gets robbed of the ball by Aaron Divini, who made a couple of appearances for Hartford before turning up here. A few local connections. Lewis Franklin, of course, the right fullback, played quite a few games for Welwyn Garden City in the Nicky Ironton era, as did Matt Ball in midfield. Throw in on the halfway line. Darian Furlong once again will take it. Long one, hurled towards the edge of that area, but headed out fairly comfortably by Coppin. Long ball forward, which has given Connor Vincent something to chase, but Jack Grosvenor, usual cool self, turns on the ball and threads it towards the halfway line. Headed back in, Snee can't control it. Alex Warman manages to get the ball at the second attempt and then turns it all the way back to Fred Burbidge in his lime green. Long one forward, headed back inside that Ware half by Dan Sears. David Soter on this near side threads it forward. It bounces off of Henry Snee, and right in front of us it will be a throw in to the visitors. 90 minutes live in association with Easy Shelf Direct here at Stotfold for the very first time. Always a pleasure to visit a new ground. And only 5 minutes in, Simon, I think, Paul's, you'll be fairly comfortable with the start Ware have made.
Yeah, absolutely. They've made making good progress up the pitch. The players been mostly in the half that Stotfold are defending. And obviously there's only sort of about 6 or 7 minutes gone. No defensive threats.
And here comes John Clements into the area for Richard Ennin to fire in the shot, but he got it all wrong. And won't want to see that one on the vlog, which is taking part just a couple of seats away from us on the right hand side. Got it all wrong and wide of the target, but John Clements causing himself a little bit of a nuisance in there against those two big central defenders, Ryan Frater, who was at AFC Dunstable, of course, and Dan Sears, former Bedford player. Got a few ex-Bedford players in this Stotfold lineup, put together by Brett Donnelly, the manager. Jack Grosvenor hooves it back inside the Stotfold half. Here is Dan Sears again. Long, high one forward, looking for Henry Snee. He's policed by David Soter. Soter tries to put the ball over his own head, miskicks it, and Jack Grosvenor has to come to his aid and just thump it out for a throw-in, parallel to the edge of the 18-yard area on this near side. 1-1 though was earlier in the season when the two teams met. It was a very competitive game, but also it took a strange turn when Darian Furlong got a red card. Ware had to survive over an hour with 10 men. Lewis Franklin, who had a really good game on that occasion, takes the throw. Franklin will get it back, chips it across the area, out by Furlong. Franklin heads it down, it's curled over the top of the crossbar by Matt Ball. And Freddie Burbidge will wait for another ball to arrive from that far side. Problem is with these grounds, with low fences around them on three sides, the likelihood of a ball going over the top of the fence is pretty great this afternoon, I think.
I think we're going to see quite a few balls go over them fences, aren't we? I'm sure I can see there's quite a few stewards around and things like that, so I'm sure there's plenty of people on ball duty today.
Fred Burbidge to restart from the goal away to our right-hand side then, with that left foot midway inside the half onto the head of Alex Coppin, out of play for a throw in the Ware, which Furlong will take. Again, look at Richard Ennin down that right hand side. Richard Ennin's got number 10 on his back and seems to have been given that free roll so far, because Joe Dearman stuck to the left, Theo Ofori stuck to the right, and Richard Ennin's got himself really behind John Clements, which is a role we haven't really seen him play so far in his Ware career. Ofori goes down under challenge from Goppin, manages to hold on to the ball and does well to do so. Far side Darian Furlong tries to go along the line. Coppin gets the challenge in, and Ware will get a throw in parallel to the edge of the 18-yard box, which, as we know, And I'm sure that Stotfold manager Brett Donnelly's done his homework. Well knows as good as a corner here with Darian Furlong's long throw. Jack Grosvenor saying, hold on a minute, while I get in the box. He's made his way to the edge of the 6-yard box now. Here comes the throw from Darian and headed out by Dan Sears and further on towards Matt Ball. Ball's ball, long one forward. Look at Henry Snee, but Fred Burbage was out and thumps it back inside that Stotfold half onto the head of Alex Coppin. Again, a bit of aerial volleyball. Joe Demon's popped up on the right hand side now. Tries to collect the ball. Theo Forey's there as well. Theo comes away with it. Got Joe Demon making the run and couldn't find him. And in the end, it's Ware will be back in possession with George Ironton midway inside the Stotfold half. Via Alex Warman, he finds Darian Furlong, whose progress is delayed by Henry Snee. Ball goes out of play on that far side, midway inside the Stotfold half. Just a little bit along from the Stotfold dugout. And Darian will take the throw, this time a short one to the edge of the area where he brings in Theo Forey, who's been policed by Aaron Deviney. Deviney is a versatile player, plays left side midfield and play left full-back as well. He's got to do his full-back duties here down by the corner flag and does so. Sticks out a leg and the ball will go out for a throw into Ware. Don't need to tell you what's coming here. Darian Furlong will take the throw in. Echo Coker makes the stroll into the area. He scored a couple from set-piece situations this season as Big Echo Coker. So the throw will come in from Darian Furlong. They will go up and it's Sears who gets there first. Richard Ennin will pick up the scraps for Ware. Brings in Joe Dearman. Joe takes perhaps one touch too many and then gets away with it. Turns away and finds Richard Ennin on this left-hand side. Ennin against Lewis Franklin. Ennin turns inside. Good ball to Joe Dearman. Dearman's ball across the box. Headed away on the near post by Dan Sears. But it was a good move by Ware.
Yeah, another good move, and more threat down this left-hand side. And it's looking like they could be causing a few problems. Richard Ennin, good little bit of work there, and coming back to what you were saying about him, in this role he's playing, it's like the what we used to call the Albert Adu role, isn't it?
It's right. Yeah, it's a bit of an Albert alike, isn't he? Really playing in that role. Darian Furlong with the throw in there. There's all sorts of wrestling going on. Ryan Frater's gone down under challenge from Jack Grosvenor, and the referee decides it's going to be a free kick to Stotfold inside their own half. 12 minutes gone here at Stotfold, and it's where they have had the majority of the possession. They've been camped inside the Stotfold half for most of the opening part of this game. Fred Burbage with very little to do at the other end, but it must be said that Alfie Bonfield hasn't really had a save to make either as far as Stotfold are concerned. Kick forward, up goes Alex Warman, loses out, there's Henry Snee, manages to get around Furlong. Jack Grosvenor's there covering. Snee has to turn the ball back to Matt Ball, whose ball along the line is too heavy, and in the end Snee will not be able to keep it in, and it'll go out for a goal kick to Ware. So we look at this back three line, which has got Echo Darian Furlong and Jack Grosvenor in it with David Soter as well. I've got to say, I'm still looking, Simon, I'm still yet to work this formation out, truly.
Yeah, it doesn't really sort of speak for itself, does it? When you're sort of watching the game and you're trying to read where the players are and what position they're playing, it's not exactly readable, and it's not really like a 3-4-3, but it's you definitely haven't got a back four there, have you? So it's, I don't know, Paul. We'll have a chat with Paul after the game and get him to explain his thoughts and. Tell us exactly what it is. It might even be top secret, Pete.
Oh, it may well be. Stotfold at the moment are having a bit of trouble with it because Ware have had the better of the opening period. Long kick forward. Look at Joe Dearman on this near side. Dan Sears over his head. Franklin gets a push in the back from George Ironton, his former teammate. But referee not impressed, and Matt Ball will come away with it. Ball midway inside the Ware half. Plenty of experience, of course. Started his career at Norwich. St Albans and Hendon on the way. Grosvenor blocks an intended cross from Franklin. Franklin still trying to get the ball across the area. He does. It's over Jack Grosvenor. Ware are struggling to get it clear. And in the end, the volley came in and went just over the top of the crossbar from Callum Donnelly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best chance of the game so far, isn't it? You know, a couple of sort of like, if I say defensive errors there, I think a couple of the players, they just misjudged the height and the flight of the ball, and thinking they could get ahead to it, and it just flew over them. But a decent chance there for Stotfold, and I think he just needed to get over that ball a little bit more to keep it down as it went over the bar.
Well, he's the most experienced player on the field is Callum Donnelly, 35. Over 500 appearances in non-league football, a lot of them for Bedford Town. As Alex Foreman's wrestling with him inside the centre circle, the ball goes out for a throw-in, which Alex Coppin will take. A couple of games bit the dust with the weather. Kempston against Leighton and Biggleswade against Barton was called off yesterday. But remarkably, the rest of the division has remained intact. So some interesting games, particularly at Cirencester. Cirencester against Bedford. We'll have details of what's going on in those games at half-time. Hartford in action as well. They're away at Tame. There was a 10 o'clock pitch inspection, but pitch there in Oxfordshire was deemed to be fit. And so we'll see what happens there. And then one new signing in the Hartford lineup as well, and no Luke Mewett in goal, we understand. So,
yeah, I think Luke's been missing the last few games. I don't know if there's any sort of injury there, or if it's a little bit of a lack of form, because he did make a couple of mistakes in a couple of the games we see. So we're not quite sure, obviously, the full story. But I'm sure, once we get to a half a game and catch up with Ben, then he'll be able to explain a little bit more for that.
Yeah, it's teenager Will Kears who's got the glove so far for Ben Hurd's side. Here we've got a free kick on the halfway line on this near side, which Darian Furlong will take towards Jack Grosvenor. Again, you would guess, as Jack's come up from the back. Jack's there wrestling away with Dan Sears. He gets the header in, but in the end to no avail really, because it just leaped up into the air and into the arms of Alfie Bondfield. 6 clean sheets and failed to score 7 times for Stotfold this season. We're having their best season for a while in terms of clean sheets, 9 so far, and have only failed to score 3 times. As George Ironton picks the ball up, hoofs it towards John Clements, who's there making life difficult for Freighter, but he diverts the ball back in by Dan Sears off the head of Callum Donnelly, but then all the way through to Fred Burbidge, who just tells everybody to calm down just a little bit and wants the formation where he wants it. Ware have got a couple of engagements with teams from the Oxfordshire region next. Cirencester at home next week really is a big one, and then away at Kidlington, and that's not going to be easy because they picked up a bit of form of Kidlington, as a few teams have as well, notably Kempston of course with that win against Bedford, which I think shocked everybody. David Sosa's ball forward though is too far forward for Richard Ennin, and Bonfield will come out and collect it. Northley and Bedford, 2 very difficult games for Stotfold coming up. And as Henry Sneed picks up the ball on the edge of the area, will look to fire in the shot, bounces over Fred Burbidge. It looked like it took a deflection off Darian Furlong, and Stotfold have taken the lead here. It must be said against the run of play with 18 minutes gone.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely taken a deflection off Darian. It's good work from Henry Sneed though. He has looked dangerous in that forward position for Stotfold, although they haven't really created anything to speak of so far before that. But he's well taken. He's taken the shot, deflected off Darian, and unfortunately, as Fred's diving to make the initial save from the initial shot, it's just looped over him and into the net.
Well, possession isn't everything. Ware have had the majority of it, but they find themselves a goal behind here. And the one statistic you don't want to read with Stotfold is when they score first they win, and when they concede first they lose. They haven't lost a game this season when they've scored the first goal. They haven't won a game or even drawn a game when they've conceded the first goal. So Ware have got to break that hoodoo. It was a long kick forward by Darian Furlong. Callum Donnelly beaten to it by Alex Warman, but Sears will get it clear from the edge of the Stotfold box. Matt Ball in possession. Plays it to the dangerous Henry Snee on that far side. He had a great record in football at Spartan South Midlands level was all the ball in the way, the mad ball, left-hand side of the area, and Jack Grosvenor does well just to thump it out. Henry Steve's record for Shefford and Campton, who are just down the road playing the South Midlands League, 65 goals he scored in just 3 seasons there. So he certainly knows his way to the back of the net, although it must be said this afternoon he got a big help from the deflection of Darian Furlong. Ball across by Coppin. Once again, Ware don't deal with it well, and in the end it's Furlong who thumps it against George Ironton, and it breaks just into the arms of Fred Burbage. Top of the table is Ware in 6th place with 39 points. Stotfold 11th with 32. Stotfold do have a game in hand though. So should they win here, they'd be just 4 points behind Ware with a game in hand. How close it is in this division. Franklin's header into the centre circle for Alex Warman as Sears miscontrols it, but luckily it bounces for Donnelly. Donnelly's ball forward is collected by Connor Vincent, who brings in Lewis Franklin on this near side. Got the feeling home side got a bit of confidence from that goal, and why not? Dan Sears chips it to the edge of the area. Grosvenor, despite the fact he got a bit of a push, manages to head the ball out, but Franklin's got it down by the corner flag. Franklin goes down, but Joe Dearman gives the throw to Stotfold. Be taken on this near side by the young fullback Lewis Franklin. He's still only 20, started at Baldock Town, made 35 appearances for Welling Garden City under Nicky Ironton. He's now very much a Stotfold player. He's waiting for some movement. He's Henry Snee again, who's got David Soter at his back. Franklin puts the ball across the box dangerously, and Echo Coker volleys it clear, looking for Theo Afori on the far side. Coppins first to it, and Stotfold back in possession on that far side. Divini gives it away to Echo Coker though. Richard Denning midway inside his own half, closed down very quickly by James Peters. And Furlong's ball forward finds the Stotfold captain, a little bit untidy by Ware. As, on this near side, Henry Snee will pick it up right at an edge of the penalty area. Jack Grosvenor's the defender, and Grosvenor does the defending job as the ball goes out for a corner on that near side of the field. 21 minutes in here on 90 Minutes Live in association with Easy Shelf Direct. Pete and Simon with you just on the Hertfordshire-Bedfordshire border, just a little bit inside Bedfordshire. In fact, didn't go out for a corner, went out for a throw-in, which Franklin will find Callum Donnelly. Franklin gets across the box, looking towards Henry Snee again, but once more Grosvenor's there with him, and the ball goes behind harmlessly enough for a goal kick. Fred Burbage takes it quickly, finds Theo Afori on the halfway line, far side of the field. Theo's round Coppin, but Frater will come across, thump the ball over the fence, but it was a foul on Theo by Alex Coppin, which will give Ware a free kick. Been a better team in second half. They've scored 37 goals second half of games compared to 23 in the opening 45. But need to get something back in this game. They've had the majority of the possession, but find themselves a goal behind. Free kick to be taken by George Ironton, far side of the field, 10 yards inside the Stotfold half. Grosvenor's come up from the back again. Ironton's kick is to the far post and easily dealt with by Lewis Franklin. Ball with Henry Snee on this near side. Good ball, brings in Callum Donnelly, who's not offside. Ware could be caught out again here, although Donnelly thumps it straight at Jack Grosvenor, and David Soter gets it back for Ware midway inside his own half. Soter forward to Richard Ennin on the halfway line, gets the 1-2 with Joe Dearman. Ennin looks for Theo Afori on the far side, but far too close to the goalkeeper Alfie Bondfield. Bowls it out on that far side to Divini. Back to Alex Coppin, to Matt Ball. That kind of central midfield player who likes to pull the strings in midfield, but he hasn't pulled that one because he's given it straight away to Joe Dearman, who advances down this left-hand side for Ware. Joe's inside the box. He's been shepherded by James Peters, who does a decent job for his team, but gives Ware their first corner of the afternoon. So, referee, what he's doing there?
Yeah. As they try to clear the ball's hit one of the spectators standing by the fence there. So the referee's just gone over to check that the spectator's okay. And he's back up on his feet now. He's looking all right, so that's good news.
Yeah, a bit of laughter going on as well. Have to live that one down with his mates in the pub later on. As George Ironton will take the corner for Ware then. We've got plenty of aerial strength in the box. Jack Grosvenor's in there. Echo Goka poised for a late run. Darian Furlong on the edge of the 6-yard box. Alex Warman there with Bonfield, the goalkeeper. Corner will come across, goes to the far post, looks for Echo Coker. He's beaten in the air by Dan Sears, and Henry Snee will pick it up midway inside his own half. Challenged by David Sota, gives the ball away to Darian Furlong, clips it forward to John Clements. Here's John Clements in the area, and Bonfield saves first with his feet and then dived on the ball and grabbed it with his legs. Good chance.
Yeah, it was a good chance. I think Clemo there, he's just tried to get it on, tried to switch his feet, hasn't he? He could take it on his stronger foot. And I think that gave the keeper a chance to move into a better position and get the ball covered.
Well, his best opportunity in the match so far comes with 25 minutes gone as they trail by a goal to nil here on 90 Minutes Live in association with Easy Shelf Direct. On the halfway line, Dan Sears heads the ball up, further on by Franklin, controlled by Matt Ball. And again, shows good control. Franklin down the line, and David Sota tries to watch it go out of play. It doesn't make it, and in the end he thumps it off of Henry Snee, and the ball will go out for a throw in to Ware, which David Sota, who has been Mr. Dependable this season, played anywhere across that back line, and in the absence of Steph Giorgio, of course, who's serving the second of a 3-match suspension, which is Ware have had a bit of a problem at right back. Ben Siggers fulfilled the gig last week at Hadley, but he's on the bench this afternoon. As Ware get it clear with David Sota only as far as Franklin, who heads it out, so Ware will get a throw in again in front of the main stand here at the JSJ. David Sota again will take the throw in for Paul Wolsey's team. Paul Wolsey sitting down on that far side. Joe O'Brien doing the shouting. Where's the assistant manager? As Dan Sears puts it out on this near side towards the very neat clubhouse they have here at New Roker Park. Where I've got a throw in. Joe Dimon will take it. Brings in George Ironton. Gets the ball back, but George's ball is not a good one. And Franklin will let it go out of play for a throw in to Stotfold. Top of the form league, as I was saying. Decent run at the beginning of the season. Turned them into the top 3, and then it all went awry a little bit. First time for them at this level of football, and have acquitted themselves well. As Donnelly's handles the ball away from Alex Warman, and well, I've got to say, you might talk to the referee, but he certainly missed one there.
I think he did, yeah. I'll let him off that one. Because he couldn't see the other side of the player, could he? So it's all over quickly. So we'll forgive him for that one. But Jordan, we are keeping an eye on you. Don't worry.
Darian Furlong will take the throw in for Ware, 10 yards inside his own half, near side of the field. Advances towards the halfway line, looks for John Clements, puts it in for Theo Forey, but Coppin's there first. Echo Coker's got a free header on the halfway line, looks to bring in Joe Dearman. There were claims of offside. Franklin's there and goes down, and in the end the ball goes behind for a throw in to Stotfold. Interestingly on this side, I mean, 2 Welwyn Garden City players who will have played together. I don't think Matt Ball really was subject to a lot of injuries. It was an in-out season for him, but he always looked a good player when Nicky Ironton brought him into the Welwyn Garden City team.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, he never really got a decent run in the side, did he? As you say, coming back from injury, stuff like that, he never really got the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, he looked good there, and he's looking good here for Stotfold today. So it's nice that he's found somewhere to get some consistent football, and he's hopefully injury free now.
Throwing the Ware right down by the corner flag on this near side. Darian Furlong will take the throw. Throw goes midway inside the Ware half onto the head of Lewis Franklin. Smith's there again, but Furlong gets it cleared to the halfway line, onto the head of James Peters. George Ironton is first to react. Theo Ofori gives it away to Matt Ball, who turns away from two Ware players and then earns a free kick for his side. Right, on the centre spot. So Ware at the moment, one save apart from John Clements. Despite all their possession, have not looked likely at getting back into things at the moment. Henry Snee's deflected effort after 18 minutes is what separates the two teams here. Ryan Freighter's on the halfway line as the free kick is taken by Matt Ball. Cross to this near side where it's won by Dan Sears in the air, but in the end it goes out for a goal kick to Ware. And again, we look at this formation. Echo Coker is pushing up on that right-hand side and almost playing a right wing-back role. Joe Dearman pushed up on his left-hand side as well. I think it's normally a back four with Echo Coker playing at right back, but doesn't always look like that. Lands on the head of Ryan Freighter, who returns with a bit of interest. Jack Grosvenor gets up above Vincent, who tries to pull the ball down the line, loses out to Richard Ennin, who turns away from the number 9, who's shoving him left, right and centre. But Richard Ennin shows good strength, brings in George Ironton, who finds Jack Grosvenor. Jack's ball to the halfway line for Richard Ennin, finds David Sota. David Sota down the line looking for Joe Dearman, who's got a bit of space, but Dan Sears is quick to close that space down and stretch out one of those long legs and divert the ball away for a throw-in on this near side, which Darian Furlong will come across to take. They haven't really profited at all from dead balls at the moment. Where?
No, they've not, have they? Darian's throw-ins haven't really worked. It's not the hugest of run-ups again here, is it? So I don't think he's maybe had the opportunity to get his full launching on it.
Well, let's see what he gets from this one. Goes over the top of Jack Grosvenor. In comes Echo Coker. Is a shot from Alex Warman, which has the rider of Mind My Car on it as it goes over the top of the crossbar and into the very nice car park they've got there. Always like a good away ground with a good car park, and you can be assured of that here near the village of Kempston. The half-time sequence will tell you all about the village of Kempston, and also, well, I've got to say it's a tenuous Muppets link, but come on. I think the village here of Stotfold has a population of 9,000, so you find a tenuous Muppets link between 9,000 people. That's not bad going. Jack Grosvenor takes the ball off Henry Snee and brings in Joe Dearman, who gives it away. Could have been costly, but David Sota helps his teammate out as Ryan Freighter wins the ball and volleys it down into the first round of the sand here.
I'm going to dig you out on that. You say 9,000. I mean, you managed to do it with North Lee, which has got a population of about 3,000.
That's true.
And it's got 3 times as many. No, I'm only joking.
It's been a while, though. I've been out of practice. Come on. The weather has done for that as much as anything else. And also the fact we'll be watching teams that we've already seen this season as well. But did see Stotfold, but it was very early on. I think before the Muppet Challenge, it must have been very early on in the season when they drew 1-1 at Ware. Romeo Mills scored Ware's goal.
That was October sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Rightly, yeah.
Richard Denham puts the ball across the box, half clearance from Dan Sears, and Callum Donnelly gives it away to Darian Furlong on the halfway line. Finds Echo Coker on that far side, looks for George Ironton, but Alex Coppin sorts that out. Henry Snee's got plenty of room in front of him. He could have brought it down, had to turn backwards, and Ware have now got defenders behind the ball, and his through ball is poor and straight into the arms of Fred Burbidge. Sun is going down, and suddenly I'm thinking it was a good idea to put that big goat on. And Theo Ofori picks the ball up, left-hand side. First time we've seen him over here. Finds Richard Ennin for David Sota. David's got Theo Ofori inside him again. Theo goes midfield, plays the ball to the edge of the area. Richard Ennin can't collect, and it all goes awry again as far as Ware are concerned. Looking at the bench, I mean, they've got Jack Dreyer, Kieran Bishop, who could definitely change things. I don't know if you agree. I think that is probably one of the strongest benches that Paul Wolsey's been able to name in a while.
I think it is. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, like you say, the strength of it. The fact that he's got, he's a Freddie Moncur and Jack Dreyer, who are, generally would be in the side. Ben Stiggers, has found himself a little bit unfortunate lately, and obviously Kieran Bishop, like you say, coming back from the ban. We all know the experience and what he can bring. And then Mitch Hahn, obviously, he's been missing for a little while as well, and him back as well. So having those 5 players on the bench is, I think, a great addition to the 11 that are out here.
So it's a throw in to Stotfold on his near side of the field. Lewis Franklin, the right fullback, will take it. Vincent came short, and the ball inside the box now with Henry Snee. Good save. With his legs from Fred Burbage. The header comes in, and another fine save diving away the right-hand side from the header from Colin Vincent. 2 excellent saves by the Ware goalkeeper inside a couple of seconds there.
Yeah, great work from Fred. As you say, saved the first one with his legs. Then, that's come out. And then diving away to his right-hand side to stop that ball going into the right-hand corner of the net. And, some great work there by Fred.
It's going to be a corner, which will be taken by Matt Ball on that far side of the field. Sears and Frater have both come up from the back. Henry Sneeze inside the 6-yard box. High corner goes to the far post and headed over the top in the end by James Peters, who nobody really had picked up. Made a late run from left to right, and Ware get away with another one there.
Yeah, that was a dangerous corner as well. So much swinging power on it. It's it really caused a problem in that Ware box. And as you say, he's there unmarked and no one had picked him up. But thankfully, he's managed to header it just over.
Goal kick to be taken by Fred Burbage with 10 minutes to go before the break here. Stotfold 1, Ware 0, goal after 18 minutes. Henry Snee will no doubt claim it, but it's a massive deflection off of Ware's Darian Furlong. One good save by Alfie Bondfield, the goal away to our left, but Fred Burbage has been the busier of the keepers in the goal away to our right. Might be again here as Vincent picks the ball up on the edge of the area. It's under challenge from Darian Furlong. Has to go backwards to Alex Coppin. Coppin's cross is headed up in the air by David Sota. Joe Dearman goes up, and in the end it's a header from Matt Ball, which breaks to the edge of the area and is collected comfortably by Fred Burbage. Bowls it out to David Sota. David Sota looking for somebody to come towards him. Didn't find anybody, and has to go back to his goalkeeper, who then thumps it down this left-hand side. Joe Dearman's there against Lewis Franklin. Franklin does well. It's not the biggest of fullbacks, but certainly got his body shape absolutely right there. Ware have got the ball back, though, with Richard Enning. Finds George Ianson. George plays it far side, looking for the run of Echo Coker. Echo will keep the ball in. Divini is the defender for Stotfold, and via Alex Coppin they managed to get it clear towards our halfway line, where Henry Snee is wrestling away with Darian Furlong. The ball's taken on by Callum Donnelly, and in the end the referee decides that Furlong against Henry Snee is worthy of a free kick right on the halfway line on that far side of the field. Matt Ball, in fact, is going to leave it to Alex Coppin. Nobody's in a hurry to take it. It's Ware's time, admittedly. Plenty of it left, of course. They trail by that goal to nil. Goes the free kick right on the halfway line. Alex Coppin, the left fullback, will take it. Look for some of the aerial power up there. Dan Sears has come up from the back. Long kick forwards, and it's headed on by Connor Vincent. Dan Sears will pick it up. Far side the area, puts it back across the box. Henry Snee goes in. It's headed up in the air and comes last touch off Darian Furlong. And Henry Snee, he's one of those, he's an untidy looking striker, isn't he? But he's one of those that just gives you trouble every minute.
He is, yeah. He doesn't quite have the sort of like, the skill set, if I'm not being disrespectful to him, but that you'd imagine him to have. But he is causing so much trouble for this Ware defence. I think he's having a really good game.
Header back across the box and headed down in the end and scrambled clear by David Sota. I think Fred Burbage might have got a touch on it as well. Dan Sears was involved in that. But Alex Warman picks the ball up midway inside his own half. far side of the field will bring in Echo Coker. Haven't seen that much of Alex Warman so far. Ware tends to tick when he ticks. Need to get him more involved in the game. He is involved now. Finds Echo Coker. Coker's ball up and under, looking for John Clements. Ball goes up in the air again and headed by James Peters. Back up by Coker. Comes off the head of Alex Coppin, but Bonfield did well because his starting position was good and he was allowed to get there before Richard Ennin could pounce on the ball for Ware. Sun's back out again, but it's Intelligen's losing a bit of its power. But after what we've had this week, it's been a glorious day, it's got to be said. Up in the air by Jack Grosvenor, midway inside his own half. Far side, Coker gets in the way. Grosvenor just manages to divert the ball from Connor Vincent as far as Lewis Franklin. Franklin gets on the left foot, fires in a shot straight at Fred Burbidge. Worth a try. Plays on the right, but very much two-footed is Lewis Franklin. Fred Burbidge taking his time. Seeing where he's going to plant this one. It's been a Ware team that have misfired for a lot of this half, really. So the silky play that they like to put together on occasions hasn't really been in evidence as Joe Demon goes down and wins a free kick midway inside the Stotfold half, right by this near side touchline. Joe just having a word and the referee saying that the ball's got to go back a little bit. George Ironton has the responsibility of taking the dead ball kick. Echo Coker and Jack Grosvenor make their way up for the back to be joined by Darian Furlong, who's making a late run to the edge of the 18-yard box. George looks up. Right-footed it'll be. Swing it across that line. High line on the edge of the 18-yard box. He does. Out comes Bonfield, and under challenge from Theo O'Forey, he drops the ball. John Clements puts it in the back of the net, but the referee had already blown up for a free kick to Stotfold.
Yeah. I mean, nothing was ever going to come of that, was there? Once the keeper had come down, and obviously the ref's blown straight away. Whereas obviously still put it in the net in the hope that it might be allowed, but obviously once the ref's blown his whistle, he's never going to change his mind apart from that, and I think it's fair enough, foul on the keeper there.
Alfie Bonfield will restart from the goal away to our left-hand side, the sunshine end, as I call it, is where the sun is coming at us from. Long kick forward onto the head of Richard Ennin on the halfway line. John Clements loses control of it. Matt Ball has it. Ball looks up with the right boot, puts one on that far side, looking for the run of Callum Donnelly, who bumps into Fred Burbidge, and Fred picks up the ball. Just a little bit of a look at Callum Donnelly. He was a bit of a pantomime villain at Watson Park, I remember Donnelly, in the 1-1 game as well. Darian Furlong got the red card. Fred Burbidge kick forward, straight onto the head of Divini, but back with interest from Jack Grosvenor. Ryan Frater hits it up in the air. Divini again, but Alex Warman has it inside the centre circle. Back for Darian Furlong. Long ball forward onto the head of Alex Coppin. Up goes Echo Coker, does well to win the ball. Peters can't get it. Theo O'Forey's got some space on that far side. Can he get the ball across the box? Theo onto the left foot. It's Richard Ennin, fires it in. First one's blocked. Joe Dearman. Second block comes in. This time from James Peters. And the goalkeeper not called into action. Two very good blocks by Stotfold defenders. Ware have got it again. Joe Dearman's got it on this near side. Puts the ball in for George Ironton. Across the box, Coker's coming in. It's Theo O'Forey and into the side netting, but there's a linesman's flag up on the far side.
Well, I mean, a good couple of minutes there for Ware, wasn't there? Some good attacking there, good intelligence to get forward and creating those chances. So hopefully that will give them a bit of confidence, going into the latter stages of this half, and then obviously into the second half. So it's very much an open game here so far this afternoon. So I'm sure we're going to see plenty more action yet.
Yeah, down with Paul Halsey and Joe O'Brien might not want the half-time the way Ware played in the last couple of minutes. Look much more effective as John Clements is chasing the ball on the far side. Can't keep it in though. Alex Coppin lets it go out, and it will be a throw in to Stotfold. parallel to the edge of their 18-yard area on that far side of the field. Throw taken down the line. 1 minute to be added on, which is probably just about right. Haven't seen a therapist, magic sponge person, trainer, physio, or whatever you wish to call them, as Lewis Franklin comes forward for Stotfold, brings in Callum Donnelly. Franklin again down this right-hand touchline. Donnelly's got it, high one across the box, over the top of Vincent, in fact over the top of everybody. Echo Coker loses out to Matt Ball though. Connor Vincent gets it back, finds Matt Ball on that far side. Cross is blocked by Theo Afori, who does well to avoid it going behind for a corner. And in the end manages to win a throw by nipping it off of Aaron Divini. Ball goes out again on the far side, but Stotfold at it this time. James Peters' ball got Henry Snee inside the area as Jack Grosvenor polices him to the outside of the area. Is Divini's cross, and David Soto does a good job to deflect the ball out on this near side. Joe Demon thumps it down the line. Richard Ennin chases, and woof, that's the highest one of the afternoon from James Peters, who just skies it over the stand that we're sitting in. And we'll give Ware a throw in the dying seconds of the opening period here. We're into that 1 minute of time added on for stoppages, with Ware trailing by a goal to nil. Henry Snee's goal after 18 minutes is what separates the two teams here at Stotfold. David Soto will take the throw in for Ware. Let's go down the line, but it's hooked in the air by James Peters. Jack Grosvenor's beaten to it by Connor Vincent, but in the end it'll roll out to Fred Burbage. I've got a feeling that will be that at the end of the opening 45 here, will it? In fact it won't, because referee Mr Gibson has decided to continue with things, and Henry Snee here has saw Fred Burbage off his line, but his shot was blocked by a Ware defender as Alex Warman comes forward, avoids the lunging challenge by Peters, brings in Joe Dearman on this near side. Referee perhaps will have a little bit of a word with the Stotfold skipper when this attack comes to its conclusion. He really did fly in there against Alex Warman. Here's Joe Dearman, tries to play the ball down this left-hand side. Joe goes down, up in the air. Referee blows the half-time whistle, and that's going to be it for the opening 45 minutes here as the two teams come off the pitch with the score. Stotfold 1, Ware 0.
Well, I mean, I think it's a very interesting game so far. Obviously, we're having the upper hand up until Stotfold got their opening goal. But then, as you said, Pete, the last 5 minutes or so of that half, Ware have come back into it, created a couple more chances, and I mean, really from now on, I think so far it's anyone's game.
It's going to be an interesting team talk from Paul Wolsey, who's making his way across the pitch. It really is very even game between two evenly matched teams, and very much like it was at Watson Park earlier on in the season, where the two drew 1-1. So let's tell you a little bit about Stotfold. We're on the Bedfordshire-Hertfordshire border. Population, in fact, it's over 9,600 at last count was the population of Stotfold. Stotfold Watermill is one of the big attractions around this area. Stands on the River Ivel and was restored and opened by the Duke of Edinburgh in 2006, and its 4.4 metre wide water wheel is the widest in the country. And every May the Stotfold Mill Steam and Country Fair is held in the village here to raise funds and can attract up to 8,000 people. So I think even the car park out the football ground, they get a bit busy on that particular occasion. Parish Church of St Mary's here dates back to 1150. And first recorded village in the football was in 1904, but Stotfold FC wasn't founded until just after the Second World War in 1946, and they moved to New Roker Park here in 2020 on what was originally called Roker Field. As far as famous people from Stotfold go, not to be disparaging of Stotfoldia, I suppose, would it be called Stotfoldia? Something like that. Anyway, there is one that stands head and shoulders above the rest, which is Victoria Pendleton. Drove just down from the A507 past her sports centre, which you can actually see from the ground here. at New Roker Park. She was track cyclist, of course, and then went to become a jockey. And she's also got a cycle track, the Victoria Pendleton cycle track, runs between here, Stotfold, and Arlesey, just across the way in the A507. So for the Muppet link, well, I had to pick really Victoria Pendleton, didn't I? Because I thought, well, there's got to be a Muppet link somewhere to London 2012, where Victoria won gold in the Kieran, which it's that cycling event where you've got absolutely no idea what's going on. And thanks to Simon Brotherton, who's one of the best commentators, in my opinion anyway, on the BBC, who managed to keep an eye on it and couldn't tell you eventually who's won. Well, she won that at London 2012, and at the time she was watched by Elmo from Sesame Street. As part of the Muppets campaign, Elmo should go to the Olympics, which resulted in Elmo and fellow Muppets Abby and Grosvenor attending London 2012. So I know it's Sesame Street, but come on, got to give me a bit of leeway.
No, I think I will. We've got to allow you that one, Pete. Definitely. That's perfectly acceptable in my book. I'm just looking up the one more result or one more half-time scoreline as. We have half-time here at the moment, which I shall bring you very shortly. The only one I'm looking for, there we go, I found it. So there we go, I was going to say the only one I'm looking for is in the Hertford game, which gives you a little bit of a clue as to what's going on. But so I'll come with you with the half-time scores from Southern League Division 1 Central. It's Cirencester Town 0, Bedford Town 0 in what Pete was saying was going to be a very interesting game to see there. Hadley are hosting Aylesbury United, and it's the Ducks are 1-0 up, so the visitors beating Hadley 1-0. Kidlington, they've had a 45 minutes to forget against Biggleswade Town, as they are 3-0 up at half-time against them. And it's Kings Langley 3 and Northley 1. So obviously, with all that's been going on at Northley, it's looks like it's going to affect their form. Obviously, we know they've lost quite a few players, and they're fielding quite a young side out at the moment. So it's not looking too good for them so far this afternoon. Down at Cappershots, Waltham Abbey, who are in form and been playing well. And obviously they've played a lot more games than everyone else. They're facing AFC Dunstable, and Waltham Abbey are 2-1 down at half-time. And the final game, Tame United against Hertford Town. It's Hertford who go in 1-0 ahead at half-time. Sonny Coughlin-Brown with the goal for the Blues.
Good news there coming from Oxfordshire. So interesting. Look at the top of the table. It's Cirencester and Bedford drawing. Waltham Abbey missing a bit of a chance here because they were second this morning. But I'm right in thinking in the AFC Dunstable, Waltham Abbey won the other way round. And it was that crazy 6-4 game, wasn't it? Earlier on in the season.
I think it could have been, actually, yes.
Yeah, so I think there could be a few more goals at Cappershots to come in that one. Northley, I think sadly you're going to see them drop out the top 5 with their new young team. So at the moment the playoff places go down to 6 as long as Northley stay in the top 5, because simple equation there is Northley can't get promoted, can't be in the playoffs, so it'll be the 5 teams or 4 teams rather around Northley that will qualify. Ware will be one of those teams at the moment, but they're being closed down. AFC Dunstable's win will put them on the same number of points as Ware, with a game in hand if they continue to win at Cappershots. But plenty to play for here in the second half. The Golden Boot, we'll take you through the men's Golden Boot. There hasn't been a lot of change in the Golden Boot, mainly because there hasn't been a lot of boots on the pitch because of the recent weather we've had. Eben Mabona from Hatfield Town still out in front, 25 goals for him this season. His strike partner Kamani Collington is joint second. He's got 19, along with Jamie Marshall of Hertford Heath. Then have to go back to 14, our old friend Louis Debnam from Westmill, still banging the goals in. 13, Adam Bayliss of Hertford Heath, and Brad Watkins of Welling Garden City, and also Kendall Giamphy of AFC Welling. AFC AFC Welling. By the way, Kendall Gamphey and Brad Watkins will probably be meeting this afternoon as Welling Garden City and AFC Welling are involved in a friendly match somewhere on a 3G pitch. Got absolutely no idea where, have we? But somewhere on a 3G.
Yeah, it said it wasn't FA approved or something, didn't they? So I'm not quite sure where that is, but I mean, I know Mark Weatherstone, he was frustrated that Tuesday night's game was postponed, and there's so many points behind. So many games played behind. We were saying earlier that there's 9 Saturdays left of the season, and Welling have got 15 to play, 15 games to play. So it's looking a bit iffy, and they're supposed to have a game on Tuesday night, and we don't think that's going to go ahead with the weather that's predicted. But we shall wait and see on that. I'll bring you news on the women's Golden Boot. So a little bit of a change. There was only a couple of games took place last weekend. That was in the Eastern Region Women's Football League, and good result for both our sides in there. Hertford got a 3-1 win, and Watson Park got a victory as well. That was a 3-0 win for Watson Park. So them both picking up 3 points. It was Hertford's first win in 7 games last Sunday, so much needed for them, even though previously, or a couple of weeks previous to that, they had picked up a draw against the top of the table, and the week between those they actually played Watson Park, and Watson Park round out the winners from that. So it's Paige Pryor from St Margaret's leading the way as before on 19, Laura Cousins from Sherrards Wood on 16, Sophie Vale moves up into 3rd place on her own from Watson Park on 13, with Christina Connell, also of Watson Park, moving into 4th on 12. And then tied for 5th is Jessica Duff from Bury Rangers and Claire Cranfield from Sherrards Wood on 11. I do want to give a little shout out to my daughter's team. So she's sitting here beside me. She could be giving me a bit of a funny look, but they got their first win of the season today, and under 13s plays for Ware Youth. They've played 13 games now so far this season. Got their first win, 4-3 win over Garston Ladies. It was over there nice and early. You had to be over a bushy at 9:30 this morning. So great win for them, and hopefully now for the remainder of the season that'll give them a bit of a lift, and they can get a few more points on the table.
Yeah, well done, Lily and the girls. Well done for getting to Garston for 9:30 this morning on a Saturday as well.
It wasn't pleasant, I'll tell you.
I can imagine. Football this week, Tuesday, 7:45. Hertford have got a game at the Smile IT against Kings Langley. Welling Garden City's game is scheduled for Wednesday at Biggleswade, which is the new area, as they ground share with Bedford, of course. But, that ground and Welling Garden Cities have got to be the 2 worst pitches in the league. A number of games that have been off involving Biggleswade. So we'll wait and see whether that one goes ahead. And also action for St Margaret's-Bury in the week on Wednesday in the Thurlow Nunn Division 1 South. Boy, do they need points, and they're away against Basildon Town. I did a little bit of statistics in the week. It's one of these things where Mrs H says, what have you been doing up there? And I say, well, I've just been looking up football tables, and the eyes roll again, oh dear, not again. And I took the teams which are up there in contention of finishing in the top 6 in the division, and looked at their points per game at home, points per game away, and then what they've got left to play, and did a little bit of a prediction. And that prediction saw Bedford win the league with 73 points, Biggleswade Town with 69, North Lee with 68, although that has probably got a big question mark on it, because this is sadly not the North Lee that took part in the majority of the season. Waltham Abbey in 4th with 57, Ware in 5th with 54, Cirencester in 6th with 53, and then you get Welling Garden City and the Hertford on 52 and 51 respectively, which I don't know what that proves, but I think it does prove that the teams that are up there are possibly likely to stay there, but it really is up for grabs for maybe the 4th and even the 5th the 3rd or even the 4th of the playoff places.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just having a look at that, it shows obviously, North Lee, we can discount them, but obviously it shows, the top two spaces aren't really sort of like achievable for for anyone else in the chasing pack. But I mean, it's perfectly good chances for all those other teams, and none of them are going to discount themselves out of it, are they? They're all going to think they've got a chance of getting there. So it's going to be interesting for the remaining weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think Stotfold started in the 11th this morning, and they will think they've got a chance, but they're down.
I think what you need to do, Pete, is keep that sheet for the next few weeks and see what it's like at the start of the season.
See what happens. Okay, I'll put my reputation on the line there by doing that. But who knows? With Bedford have had another wobble. So whether it's a permanent wobble or not, 0-0 at Cirencester is interesting. And looking at attendances as well, this was interesting because attendances in the division, average attendance 491 for Bedford, that probably you'd expect, 370 for Leighton, which is really good for a team that have just come up to this level, 297 for Hertford, 243 for Stotfold, where we are today, and 228 for Ware. And what that means for our two local teams is Hertford's attendances are up 16% from last season, and Ware's attendances are up a whopping 22% from last season.
I think that's great. And do you know what, Pete? I mean, I know we've said it a lot, especially after what happened with COVID and things like that. But I think that people are sort of, if I say, growing tired of watching the Premier League games and following their Premier League club with the ridiculous cost of ticket prices and just attending a game even, and they're starting to sort of like find a local club to go and follow, go and support, because those people who want to go and watch a football game on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, as you found last week, are going to do so whatsoever anyway. So I think it's good for them to find a local team to give their support to, rather than someone in the Premier League who, without being funny, doesn't need the support that your local clubs need.
Yeah, absolutely. I found myself at Royston Town in Southern League Premier last week. Put something on Twitter, and when I got home, actually, I got a nice little tweet from Royston Town saying, "Hope you enjoyed the game," which I thought was very nice. Certainly wouldn't get that if you turn up in the Premier League. But I think the one thing I've said to somebody in the week, actually, and we had this little discussion about watching non-league football, and I said, you know what? When I watch a game now on the TV, particularly a Premier Division game on TV, I actually feel I'm watching a different sport now. I don't think I'm watching the same football I've always watched. What we're seeing here today is the same football I've always watched. But waiting 10 minutes to find out someone was offside at a goal, and this going on, and 5 substitutes and everything else, and it just seems like a different game now. Yeah.
I think it's taken a lot of the fun and the enjoyment out of it, hasn't it? As you say, you don't know, you can't celebrate a goal properly. It's just too much, and I find myself beforehand. I'd find myself on a Saturday evening or a Monday night, whatever. There's a football game on, whoever it was, I'd watch it. Now I just don't have the inclination to do so, and I think, like I said, like a lot of people, I'm just growing tired of it all, really.
Yeah, so that's a big up for non-league football, and if you're listening to us and you haven't tried it yet, go and give it a try between now and the end of the season. I can guarantee you will not be disappointed, because we've seen some quality football at this level as well this season. Let's hope we'll see some from Ware in this second half. They're in the huddle on the edge of the 18-yard area as Stotfold make their way out. Things were said at half-time, and obviously they're there now and trying to get it together and get themselves back into the game as they trail by a goal to nil. The Ware line-up this afternoon, take you through that because there haven't been any changes at half-time. Fred Burbidge in goal. Darian Furlong and Jack Grosvenor are the 2 central defenders. David Soter is playing on the left, and Echo Coker playing on the right. Alex Warman and George Ironton have formed a midfield duo, which then has Richard Ennin playing just in front of them, and a 3-man front line of Joe Dearman, Theo Ofori And John Clements, the substitutes for Ballsy's team. Freddie Moncur, Jack Dreyer, Kieran Bishop, Ben Siggers and Mitch Hahn. As far as Stotfold are concerned, they've got Alfie Bonfield. He's their goalkeeper. Lewis Franklin at right back, Alec Coppin at left back, Ryan Frater and Dan Sears are the central defenders, with their skipper James Collins playing just in front of them. In front of those two, Matt Ball and Callum Donnelly, very experienced midfield duo, and up front Henry Snee, Aaron Divini on the left hand side, and Connor Vincent through the middle wearing 9. So that's our lineup. So referee is Jordan Gibson, and we're away in the second half here, with Ware looking to get back into the game, kicking from left to right, away from the sunshine end at this very nicely appointed stadium, which has been open for 3 years and is well appreciated by the locals. It's good to see Stotfold so high up the attendance level as well. It's nice they've built a new ground, and the locals have come out and want to come and watch their football here as well. Ball goes out near side of the field, and it's going to be a throw in to Stotfold. It's their shaven-headed left back, Alex Coppin, will take, it's more or less right on the halfway line. I don't think Ware have changed formation in any form, as Richard Ennin picks the ball up. George Irons will have it midway inside his own half, and then gets it snuffled away by Connor Vincent. Puts the ball off the back of David Sota. George puts it forward, but only as far as Aaron Divini. Divini's ball on the far side will try and bring in Lewis Franklin, who's challenged by David Sota. Franklin got the last touch, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Ware, which will be taken by Fred Burbidge. 90 Minutes Live, of course, brought to you in association with Easy Shelf Direct, our sponsors, who we thank for the ability to give you Step 4 football throughout the season, as we will be doing for the 9 remaining Saturdays in the season in Southern League Division 1 Central. We had a little bit of a chat earlier on that some of the Northern Leagues want an extension of the season, but I can't see that. I'm going to be talking to Steve King, but I know there was a time in the 90s when Ware were forced to play 2 games on the same day. So if the league won't allow you to extend the season in those circumstances, I think we will be coming to a close at the end of April, with the playoffs at the beginning of May. Ball goes out near side. Connor Vincent on control there. Eko Goka's got it for Ware, with a throw in to Richard Ennin off Richard's chest. Eko goes a little bit further down the right touchline, gets it back from Theo Ofori. Possibilities here. Eko's inside the area, gets deflection on the cross, and Dan Sears takes it away from his goalkeeper Alfie Bonfield, and it goes behind for a corner. And just a little bit of indecision there in that defence for Stotfold.
Yeah. I don't know if it was that or if it was a lack of communication for them, but something that Ware could possibly take advantage of there.
It's going to be a corner. Joe Dearman's going to take it on this near side of the field, swing it in with the left boot. Grosvenor and Coker are up from the back, and it comes off the post. And Joe Dearman almost doing what Alex Warman did against Waltham Abbey, as his corner beat everybody and came off the goalpost. Joe's got it back again, puts it across the box, all the way across the box. Nobody could get a touch. Theo Ofori keeps it in. Ware have started well in the second period here. Can Theo get the ball across? Lewis Franklin's in his way, and the ball bounces off of Franklin and goes behind for a corner. But, I saw 2 straight from corners at Royston last week. I saw 1 straight from a corner from Alex Warman, and almost another one there.
You must be some sort of lucky charm there, Pete.
Well, Alex Warman's got a corner teed up on that far side. Let's see if I am a lucky charm. And that's the exact spot where he scored against Waltham Abbey a couple of weeks ago. Alex Warman's corner comes across. Coker goes in and gets a touch to it, but can't put it goalwards, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Stotfold. But just a couple of minutes in, but Ware have started as if their ears are ringing a little bit from what Paulsy said at half time. Yeah,
definitely. I do think Paul's had a little bit of a word with him, told him how it is his disappointment from the first half performance, and they want to come out and prove a point in the second half. And so far, obviously, we're only sort of like 3-4 minutes in. But so far they've made a good bright start to this period.
Well, Stotfold have had an Achilles heel. They have been, the first half of games they've outscored opponents 24-17, but have been outscored themselves in the second half of games. Been very much a first half team this season. A bit like Leighton Town, of course. We saw who they fell apart in the second half against Ware a few weeks ago. Darian Furlong will take the throw midway inside his own half on this near side of the field. Looks for Richard Enning, bounces off of Alex Coppin. Well, we'll get another throw in. Richard Enning's quick throw finds Theo Afori down this near side. Afori goes down under challenge. Looks as if he wanted a free kick. Referee not interested. It's punted down this touchline, and Darian Furlong just holds off the challenge of Connor Vincent for the ball to go out for a throw in to Ware. Darian again will take it. Just a little bit shy of midway inside his own half. Throws the ball inside the Stotfold half. One bounce. Alex Coppin heads it up on by James Peters onto the chest of Aaron Davini, but goes out for a throw in the Ware. Echo Coker will take that throw in. A couple of Ware substitutes warming up down by the corner flag I can see there. Gavin Bishop's one of them, as Richard Enning is beaten to it by Callum Donnelly. Callum Donnelly goes down and using all his experience manages to win Stotfold a free kick. Left hand side, midway inside their own half. Alfie Bonfield will come out and take it for them. As the referee looks across, in fact it's going to be an early substitution here, is there? There is. It's going to be an early substitution for Stotfold. Looks like Callum Kane, I think, might be coming on. It is. It's Aaron Davini who goes off. And round of applause from us. He does the correct thing. He was down by the touchline and goes off by the appropriate touchline. And on comes Callum Kane, 19-year-old, formerly of Baldock Town. He's also a defender. So, looks like he's going to play that advanced role up the left-hand side still. So, very much like for like. Davini was carrying an injury. Meanwhile, the ball's on the edge of the Ware area, bouncing around like a pinball, and fired in by the substitute Kane. And it was David Soter who got in the way to give Stotfold their third corner of the afternoon, which Matt Ball will take on this near side of the field. Where have got two forward, and Theo Afori and Joe Dearman with two back, Kane and Franklin for Stotfold, who can get this out quickly. 2 against 2. Might fancy Theo and Joe Dearman's pace. Got to get this clear though. It goes to the near post. Cleared first of all by George Ironton. Headed back in and then thump clear towards Theo. He gets a big push in the back from Kane. And in the end the referee's given the push, which was well played. Our referee Jordan Gibson saw the infringement. Waited to see if the game had continued in Ware's favour. It didn't, so Ware get a free kick on the halfway line, which Darian Furlong will take. None of the big guns have come up from the back here. Darian looking where to put it. In the end, he aims for John Clements, who beats Ryan Frater to it, but one bounce and straight to Alfie Bonfield, the goalkeeper. Bonfield takes it to the edge of his area and will thump it right-footed downfield. Lands midway inside the Ware half. There's a sandwich. Connor Vincent with two Ware players around him. George Ironson skies the ball on this near side. Theo Afori can't keep it in. It's going to be a throw in to the home side Stotfold. It's going to be Alex Coppin who will take the throw in on the near side here. Not sure of the attendance, probably 250, something like that. I'd say people all around the pitch here. There's the ball forward, and Fred Burbage has to come out and take it away in the end from Callum Kane, who was making inroads down this left-hand side. So Stotfold will have a throw in. It's Callum Kane, the substitute, who will take the throw in. Gets it back off of Connor Vincent. Turns inside Echo Coker. It goes all the way across the box, and Joe Dearman's on the far post, loses out to Lewis Franklin. Franklin tries to get it back across the box, bounces back off Joe Dearman, And Stotfold have got themselves another corner, this time on that far side of the field. And Lewis Franklin really taking up where he left off at Watson Park, having another excellent game.
Yeah, I mean, that was good work there from Lewis, wasn't it? He's trying to find that little bit of space, trying to cut in, trying to put the ball across, but good work from Lewis.
Here comes the corner, punched out by Fred Burbage, and clearance completed by George Ironson on that far side. Down the line looking for Lewis Franklin, can't keep the ball in, and Ware will have a throw in. Still having to shield our eyes from the sun on that end of the pitch, but Ware coming down the other end here. Theo Ofori looks for Joe Dearman, linesman's flag goes up, but it's going to be a free kick on the halfway line, because Dan Sears had fouled John Clements, and so the play will be brought back. And might be biased. I think Mr. Gibson's having a good game, actually. It's probably the third time he's done that. Just waiting to see if play develops, and whichever way it develops, and not afraid to pull the play back for a free kick. Alex Warman will take the free kick for Ware on the halfway line on that far side of the field. Grosvenor, Coker, both made their way up from the back. Here comes Alex's kick with the left foot. Up goes Jack Grosvenor, beaten by Dan Sears, only as far as Theo Ofori miskicks the shot. Furlong's got it, he's bouncing about the edge of the area, screams of a handball, but nothing given. On the far side, Joe Demon will give it in play in front of the Ware dugout. Down the line, looking for Richard Ennin. Richard looks to get it across the box. He does. Low ball across the box. Edge of the area. Shot fired in by Alex Warman. Bounces off a defender. Alex goes in with Connor Vincent, who does well to rob the Ware man. And on that far side, bring in Henry Snee. Stotfold could be in here. Darian Furlong's the defender. Snee's shot wide of the target. But it's always going to be a persistent threat as Ware push forward. They're going to have to watch they don't leave the door open at the back.
Yeah, I mean, that nearly happened there as well, didn't it? Football's gone to Snee. He's making that run. He's found a little bit of space there and taken the shot. He's taken that shot a little bit earlier than I thought he might have done against Fred, and thankfully he's sent it just wide.
Goal kick from the sun end away to our left-hand side. Fred Burbage left-footed downfield. Lands just inside the Stotfold half on the head of Dan Sears, who picks out Connor Vincent. Vincent lets it go to Callum Donnelly, who's beaten to it by Echo Coker. Echo sticks to it, but Donnelly somehow comes up with the ball, plays it down on this side to Kane. Kane's ball across the box. Henry Snee was coming in, and in the end, it just hit him and went wide of the target. Fred Burbage, I think, would have had to save on it had it gone on target. But once again, Stotfold looking dangerous with their wide players. They're certainly down this side. And Callum Kane has introduced a little bit more direct play than Aaron Davini, who he replaced in this second half. Fred Burbage with the kick. John Clements beaten to it by Ryan Frater on the halfway line. Alex Warman heads it down to George Ironton. George, push on Theo Ofori, who goes down. The referee doesn't give anything, and the ball's on the halfway line with Connor Vincent. Breaks to James Peters, is beaten to it by George Ironton, all a bit scrappy. Then Alex Warman brings in Theo Ofori, who's beaten to it by Alex Coppin, who'd almost gave the ball away to Jacob Dearman, who couldn't collect it. David Sota does a decent job again against the awkward character that's Connor Vincent, and manages to win a free kick. I think we're saying about Henry Snee. I mean, they're two just awkward strikers, those two, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they're the sort of strikers that you don't really know how to play against them. It's the way they're playing and the way they're linking up. Very difficult.
Richard Ennin gets away with a handball on this near side, but he's there under challenge from James Peters. Tries to go round Coppin, but Coppin atoned for his earlier error, finding Jack Grosvenor on the halfway line, who falls over and then stretches out a leg to give it to Alex Warman. Alex gets it back under control and finds Echo Coker, who brings in Theo Ofori. Theo, a chance to run on the edge of the area. Theo's in the area, the ball breaks and it's thumped away by Ryan Frater. Very much a basketball mentality at the moment. You have a go and we'll have a go, and it's 3 against 3 here for Stotfold. Henry Snee, outside him is Callum Donnelly. Flag goes up, and Callum Donnelly, well, for all his experience and his 500 odd appearances in non-league football, should have known to keep onside then, otherwise Ware could have been in trouble. He also has a little bit too much to say about it, according to Jordan Gibson, the referee, as well. So it's going to be a free kick, which Fred Burbage will take for Ware. They trail by a 1-0 as we approach the hour mark here at Stotfold. The goal coming as early as the 18th minute. Henry Snee's shot taking deflection off Darian Furlong and wrong footing Fred Burbage. Fred's free kick down, looking for John Clements. But on that goal, it's got to be said, it's been a remarkably even game. Although Stotfold did have opportunities in that first half, as did Ware. But at the moment, Ware, who scored a blank against Hadley this time last week, looking to open their account as Echo Coker brings in Richard Ennin inside the area, ball across the box, nobody can get there, and Lewis Franklin coming across from right back can clear it midway inside his own half. Ware knocking on the door, getting closer here. There's going to be a substitution, another one for Stotfold. Home side ringing the changes. It's going to be Callum Donnelly that's going to go off, and it's going to be young Mitchell Gooch who comes on. So no disrespect to Callum Donnelly, two players at opposite ends of their footballing career. 35-year-old Callum Donnelly is replaced by 17-year-old Mitchell Gooch. So hope he doesn't say "well played, Dad" when Callum comes past him. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. But Mitchell Gooch will come on. Throw into Ware midway inside the Stotfold half. Perhaps some just a few extra, a little bit of extra leg power required by Brett Donnelly. Let's see if young Mr. Gooch can provide that. Throwing away parallel to the edge of the 18-yard area. Darian Furlong, Jack Grosvenor was wondering whether he was going to go up or not, but he's going to go up. Grosvenor's on the edge of the 6-yard box. Echo Coker's inside the 6-yard box as well. The throw-in will come in from Darian Furlong, and well, you could hear that cry probably. Alfie Bonfield comes up and comes up with the ball quite comfortably. Those long throws have not worked, and I think possibly as the season has gone on, actually they caught teams a little bit cold early on, but now they're well used to what happens when Darian Furlong gets the ball. Lewis Franklin puts it across the box, header comes in, and in the end it was from Connor Vincent, but no power behind it, and Fred Burbage can clear downfield, looking for Richard Ennin straight into the head of Alex Coppin, and the ball will go out of play for a throw in. I think doing on the Ware bench so far, Ballsy and Kevin Kuhn, I think it is over there, just having a little bit of a chat. Perhaps they might fancy a change. They've started fairly well in this second period, but going to have to throw caution to the wind at some stage as they trail by a 0-0. Bonfield's out and collects the ball away from John Clements right on the edge of his 18-yard area. I mean, what would be your thoughts, Simon, on changes?
I mean, I think he needs to hold fire a little bit, just to give it another 5-10 minutes, see what's going to happen. I know they've had a couple of chances in the in the last few minutes, so I'd hold fire maybe for 10 minutes and then make a judge from there. Obviously, Kieran Bishop, I think, is possibly one that he could look to bring on. I think you've got Jack Dreyer possibly. Could have some sort of effect on the game as well. I'm sure he'll be itching to get on. I know Freddie will. I know a couple of weeks ago when he got substituted, I think we said during the commentary that how upset he looked. I spoke to him after the game, and he was gutted to have come off. And that's the right attitude, I think, as we said, because you want players that want to be out there. And he said to me, I just want to be out there playing football and doing my best for the team.
Alex Foreman's free kick for Ware lands on the edge of the 18-yard box, but everybody misses it in the end. And Lewis Franklin lets it go over for a throw-in to Stotfold. Well, Jack Dreyer's come up with a few goals this season. In fact, now he and Theo Ofori are joint top scorers with 8. Although Steve King and I have got a little bit of banter going about Jack Dreyer's 8 goals, because I think I've worked out, I counted one in the Hertfordshire Senior Cup, which Steve hasn't. And I think that's why Steve's got him on 7 and I've got him on 8. So I think that could be the difference between the two. Where I've got a throw in on the halfway line. Of course, Liam Dawson was in his 20s in terms of goals when he went to Bedford. Brandon Adams vacated very early in the season as well. It's been a season of change at Watson Park, and one which still is yet to see a Ware team put together any form of consistent run. It's been their problem this season. This time last season, by the way, they had 43 points from their games, with exactly the same number of games remaining still to play, 11. So they ended up with 62 points. So this team is going to have to start achieving if they're going to reach those heights as the ball goes out far side. But Joe Damon does manage to keep it in. Joe's still going, but in the end it's going to be cleared by Gooch, only as far as Alex Warman. Alex continuing his run down that touchline. Lewis Franklin goes down, and ball just harmlessly enough goes out of play for a throw-in to Stotfold, which Dan Sears is in no hurry to take. So I was saying, when Stotfold score first, well, they've won 9 and drawn 3 and lost a game this season, and they scored the first goal. Ware have come back twice to win, and probably most notably at AFC Dunstable, and twice to draw, and they've conceded the first goal in games. Lost 11 though. It's been the away form really. I mean, just 5 wins in 15 away games, only 4 of them in the league: Hertford, Leighton, Cirencester and AFC Dunstable. Watson Park has been pretty much a fortress for them. Only gone down 3 times, surprisingly, to Aylesbury and then to North Leigh, and they were in their pomp at the beginning of the season in a very tight game against Biggleswade Town. Kick forward by Fred Burbage, who's going to go out of play on that far side, and game just hit a little bit of a lull. Well, they made a decent start to the second half, as they did, it must be said, to the first, but then got caught by that goal scored by Henry Snee. Kieran Bishop, I think, is getting his tracksuit off, so I think that's going to be Ware's first change, and going to be coming fairly shortly. Far side of the field, they've got defending to be done as Lewis Franklin comes forward. David Soter is the defender. Joe Dearman's involved in there as well. The ball squirms its way out between the 3 of them and goes for a throw-in to Stotfold on that far side of the field. Still the sun-drenched end of the ground here. Lewis Franklin will take the throw-in for the home side. Henry Snee is the first to show. Franklin's down by the corner flag, thumps it again, this time off David Soter, and it will be a throw-in. This is where Stotfold want the ball. It's wasting time and wasting Ware's time as they look to get back into games. Henry Snee's got it. It's got David Soter at his back. Franklin puts it across the box. Jack Grosvenor's there first, and then volleys it towards the halfway line, where Ryan Frater heads it, none too convincingly, into the Stotfold dugout on the far side. Brett Donnelly and Joe Dearman, a little bit of push and shove trying to get hold of the ball. As the Stotfold manager wanted to put his body between the Ware winger and the ball. Down the line, the throw. Franklin goes up. They thought it was a foul as Frater thumps the ball. It goes off Theofori and goes out for a throw-in. It's all got a little bit scrappy.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? You know, this game really sort of like, seems to have died down in the last few minutes. Nothing going on. Stotfold, trying to time waste a little bit, but a couple of occasions that's happened. The ref has urged them to get on with it. So I think Ware needs to make that change now. Paul needs to start thinking about that change and try and put a different aspect on this game.
That ball looking for Henry Snee, but Jack Grosvenor's in the way. Controlled by ball again though, midway inside the Ware half. Puts it down the line to Connor Vincent down by the corner flag. Jack Grosvenor just puts one of those long legs out and deflects the ball for a throw-in. I wish they'd stop having throw-ins at that end. It's almost impossible to see with that sun, isn't it?
It's a proper sunshine in there, isn't it? It really is. It's so, I'm not complaining that the sun's out, but it does really impede your view.
Yeah, getting over this side, boys, as Franklin tries to do that, but Kokoka volleys it clear from the edge of the 18-yard box. It's all a bit aimless as it goes out, and it's fielded by Gavin Coon, who is going to be utilising the board in a couple of moments, I think, because Kieran Bishop's getting his everything prepared and taking one shirt off, putting another. Why can't players just sit on the bench with a shirt? What is this business of having to take a t-shirt off, a tracksuit off, another t-shirt off, put another shirt on? It's in the olden days, you sit there with your shirt on.
I think it's weird clubs, they've got, tops and training tops and this top and that top and everything else now, isn't it? So
Henry Sneeze down by our least favoured corner flag as the ball goes out for a throw-in again, which Lewis Franklin will once again take, and it is the number 15 shirt, which is about to be introduced by Paul Halsey on that far side. We'll see how long Kieran Bishop lasts this time, of course. His last two appearances, he's lasted probably a maximum of 3 minutes and got 2 red cards. And it's Matt Ball in the area. Blocked well by David Sota. Henry Snee goes down. There's a big shout for a penalty. And in the end, it all comes to nothing. And out comes Fred Burbage with the ball. In fact, it was Connor Vincent who went down with a big penalty shout. As ball from Echo Coker is none too certain, but manages to win the ball back off Coppin on the halfway line. Find Theo Ofori, who's got Coffin all over him like a rash. And Alex Warman just manages to towboat the ball to David Sota on the far side, who brings in Joe Dearman. Joe plays the ball back to David Sota. Another long high ball down that left-hand touchline where Richard Ennin is being released by Dan Sears. It's Dan Sears who gets his head there first, and Ware will get a corner, which will be taken on that far side of the field. 4th one of the afternoon for them. Alex Warman will be swinging it in with the right boots. Never make a substitution at the corner, they say in the coaching manual. I think, is Paul Halsey going to stick to that? No, he isn't. He's going to rip it up and throw it away as Joe Dearman's about to go off. And Kieran Bishop is the player who's going to come on. Joe Dearman looks to the sky. And like Freddie Moncur was the other week, I don't think he's impressed.
No, I don't think he is. But like I said before, I think it's a good sign that players are disappointed when they're coming off. They want to be out there, they want to be doing their best for their team and for the fans, and that, and that coming off doesn't give that opportunity.
Kieran Bishop's on then. Goes to the edge of the 6-yard box as Alex Woolman's corner comes across, and Echo Coker was almost in the back of the net as he heads it up and over the top and over the fence behind the goal, and Alfie Bonfield got the worst of that. And big Echo Coker, all 6'5". I mean, no blame attached to him at all, but it's a little worrying that the goalkeeper's not moving hardly at all.
Yeah, I think as Echo headed it and he's gone down to the floor, then Alfie Bonfield, he's gone down and Echo's just caught him with his boot. As you say, completely accidental. But that's what's occurred.
Ryan Jeffries is the physio who's going to hopefully apply the magic sponge, as both teams have one of these unscheduled timeouts where they both go to the dugouts to have words from their respective managers. And certainly it'll be interesting to see what they're saying. I think Brett Donnelly won't have too much to say, really. He just wants his team to remain solid at the back. As far as Paul Halsey is concerned, well, at least he got a chance to rearrange things. He's got to guess what's going to happen. Is Richard Ennin's going to go wide, and they're going to go 2 up top with John Clements and Kieran Bishop. Yeah,
that would seem to make the make the most sense, wouldn't it? Have John and Kieran up front as a team, and hopefully it will make some difference to the game. And as we said before, Pete, kick a little bit of life into it.
Yeah, it certainly needs it because time is ebbing on. 28 minutes of the second half have gone, and we're still trail by a goal to nil here. I knew that Cirencester were drawing at half time against leaders Bedford. Ware and Cirencester are due to meet next week in what's going to be a real blockbuster. Cirencester, a big week for them, of course. Bedford this week, Ware next week. Two big games next week because Welling Garden City and the Hertford meet at the Smile IT as well. That's the kind of game where we'd like to be cloned and be at both, but unfortunately can't. As Alfie Bonfield's back up and fit, which is good to see. Restarts with a goal kick onto the head of George Ironton. Alf Coppin just misses the ball, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Ware. I think it was Alex Coppin who got the last touch on it, was it? Oh, he didn't. So it's actually going to be a throw in to Stotfold. Richard Enning is protesting. He feels that Ware should have got the throw in. It looks like Richard Enning's come to the right. Theo Ofori's gone over to the left-hand side, but we'll see what happens with that. Connor Vincent's just headed the ball straight out of play for a throw in to Ware, which Darian Furlong will take just inside the Stotfold half. Got precious little movement in front of him, it's got to be said. Finally he's down the line onto the head of Coppin and finally cleared by onto the head of Jack Grosvenor, who puts it all the way back to his goalkeeper Freddie Burbidge. Rolls it out for David Sota, far side. Theo Ofori has gone left hand side now. Tries to dribble the ball across field, and Connor Vincent snapping his ankles. The referee didn't like it, so it will be a free kick. Just on the halfway line, Alex Warman with it. Okay, Coker is in plenty of space down this right hand side. A little bit surprised that substitution perhaps didn't take Joe Dearman to play at right wing back, but it's going to be a free kick from Alex Warman, looking for John Clements, who comes out. But Bonfield has done well for may I call him a diminutive goalkeeper, but he's certainly ruled his box well. Lets his defenders know where he is. As Alex Warman picks it up midway inside the Ware half. They trail by a golden nail here on 90 Minutes Live in association with Easy Shelf Direct, as Echo Coker fails to collect the ball on this near side. Just surprised that Joe Dearman went off, and maybe it wasn't Echo Coker and Joe going down this right hand side.
Yeah, possibly. I mean that's obviously one of the changes Paul Clever made, and I think maybe he had that in mind when he chose who we had in defence at the start. But I think he's obviously thought he needs a goal to get back into it, and he's gone with the two up front instead.
Well, it's going to be a throw in taken on this near side by Alex Coppin as another substitute comes onto the field. So Stotfold have made all three of theirs. PA announcer's not going to tell us, so we're going to have to look. I think that could be Katie Bagg who's come on, the number 14. It is Katie Bagg is on as here's Kieran Bishop, ball across the box. Oh, all the way across the box. Ware supporters a big groan from behind that goal. Only needed a touch and that would have been 1-1.
Yeah. All it needed was someone to make a little connection, and that would have guided it towards the net and levelled the scores.
It's Henry Snee that's gone off, and Katie Bagg who has come on. It's the final change for Stotfold. Bagg who can play midfield, can play as a striker. He's going to be a striker for the remainder of the game here. As Ryan Frater skies the ball on that far side, bounced it out for a throw in Ware, parallel to the edge of the 18-yard box. Grosvenor sprints into the box, but it's taken quickly. George Ironton fires the ball in, and Bonfield collects it quite comfortably on the edge of his 6-yard box. Jack Grosvenor has to sprint all the way back. He was expecting a long throw from Darian Furlong there without a shadow of a doubt, but didn't happen. Bonfield clears high into the sky, and the sun is now beginning to set. Let's hope it's not setting on Ware as they trail here by a golden nail. Gooch, the substitute, brings in Matt Ball. Ball down that line for Lewis Franklin. Franklin's got David Sota in the way. We've got another throw in on that far side. Throw in will be taken by Lewis Franklin. Referee's got to shield his eyes as he looks. Number 2 takes the throw in, finds Gooch again, brings in Franklin. Franklin back to Matt Ball. Matt Ball chips it down the line to Lewis Franklin. Chance to get the ball across the box here, but it's snuffed out by Alex Warman, and on the edge of the box, good challenge by Jack Grosvenor. Theo Ofori's long ball forward, but Bonfield once again had got a good starting position and lets the ball bounce once and then takes it to his chest. There's no sign of another Ware substitute warming up at the moment. Joe O'Brien is making that sign, those circular signs with his right hand, as if to say, get on with it. We need to speed things up. They need to get back into the game here if they're not going to go down to their 10th away defeat of the season. David Soto, long ball forward towards the halfway line, onto the head of Dan Sears, over the top of Soto this time. Connor Vincent's got it right hand side of the Ware box. Vincent with Jack Grosvenor there, plays it down the line for Lewis Franklin. Franklin has got Vincent making the overlap, but decides to go backwards. Lewis Franklin still with it, manages to get the ball across the box, headed down dangerously by David Soter, and in the end nothing comes of it, but James Peters will snaffle it back for Stotfold on that far side. Peters down the line for the dangerous Franklin. Peters again tried to get it across the box. Franklin was fouled. It'll be a free kick to Stotfold on that far side. Lewis Franklin goes down, stays down, and we have 11 minutes plus time added on for stoppages remaining here. And Stotfold still leading by a goal to nil. Last 10 minutes statistics, 13-10 for and against. As far as Ware are concerned, 5-4 and 2 against for Stotfold. So we've managed to keep things pretty tight in the last 10 minutes of games of the home side. That ball's got a free kick. Far side of the field, parallel to the edge of the Ware 18-yard box, where have kept two forward, Kieran Bishop and Richard Ennin, and two back for Stotfold. One arm up in the air from Matt Ball. Let's see what that signifies. It signifies a high one to the back post, and in the end it was David Soter who managed to get his head there, but he put his head there at the expense of another corner to be taken on this near side of the field, and more minutes to be ebbed off the clock in Stotfold's favour. 8 home wins so far this season. I'm drawing a game at home. 1-8, lost 5, and edging their way to win number 9 and putting themselves right back in contention for a place in the end of season playoffs. Corner to be taken by Matt Ball on this near side of the field. Matt Ball's corner goes and all the way across to the far post, and it was Dan Sears who got the final touch on it. Connor Vincent couldn't get a touch on it, and it went behind for a goal kick to Ware. Fred Burbage of the hurry up now with the left boot will propel it downfield. Last vestiges of the sun behind that goal away to our left hand side. Kick lands inside the Stotfold half. Returned from Ryan Flater to George Ironton. Bounce off of Alex Warman. Up goes Kieran Bishop. Good covering by Alex Coppin. Ball still up in the air as Bishop goes up with Dan Sears, and big shout and a free kick to be given to Stotfold, celebrated by Ryan Fraser, almost like they'd scored a goal. And midway inside his own half, Alfie Bondfield will come out and take that free kick for Stotfold. We'll talk the Wolsey after this one, as we do. We'll be on 90 Minutes Live post-match tomorrow. But hopefully we'll be able to talk about an equaliser and who knows, a winning goal as well. James Peters forward for Connor Vincent. Vincent's got Franklin gone down that touchline again. His strength holds on to the ball, but it's Alex Warman who's got it for Ware. Alex looks to try and turn away from Franklin, and in the end the ball just bounces and cannons off the back of Connor Vincent, and it goes out for a throw-in to Ware, which David Soter will take. The smattering of Ware supporters behind the goal look pensive, let's put it that way. They've given good support to their team away from home, but their team haven't always given them good support on the field. Long ball forward, looking for Richard Ennin, onto the head of Frater. George Ironton will pick it up midway inside his own half. Looks up, has to turn away from the attentions of young Mitchell Gooch. Finds David Soter on that far side. Got Richard Ennin further down the touchline. David Soter continues the run. Connor Vincent's there with him. David goes down, and we're getting themselves a free kick. Decent position, and the yellow card is produced by our referee. Connor Vincent, first booking of the game for the challenge on David Soter. And Alex Warman a chance to put this one in the box where the big guns are amassing again. Jack Grosvenor making his way in. Kieran Bishop's in there. Darian Furlong's in there. Echo Coker's in there. They need the delivery. Haven't really had it. The only time they've caused the problem was Joe Dearman's corner, which came off a goalpost. Apart from that, free kicks and corners have not given Stotfold too much to worry about. Let's see what happens with this one. From Alex Warman down on that far side touchline. Comes in with the right boot to the near post, headed out easily by Ryan Frater. And will be a throw in, which Darian Furlong will take. And once again, well, players have stayed up front. Still two forward as far as Stotfold are concerned. Well, Matt Ball's midway inside the Ware half. Katie Bagg a little bit further forward as Furlong propels the throw in straight on the head of Ryan Frater. I mean, it's been poor delivery from throw-ins, and that one from Joe Dearman at Park corners. But they've got a chance at another throw-in now, midway inside the Stotfold half. That Darian Furlong will take for Ware. Down the line, looking for Kieran Bishop's got Lewis Franklin at his feet as the ball is threaded further down that touchline and goes out of play. Another Ware throw-in. Darian Furlong will take the throw-in. Looks perhaps early into the box. Jack Grosvenor's come up from the back. And indeed it does go towards Grosvenor off the top of Dan Seals. Headed in the back of the net by John Clements. But the referee, as a judge, there was a push in the area. And for the second time in the afternoon, Ware hit the back of the net and the referee denies them.
Yeah, I mean, he was quick to blow his whistle, wasn't he? So, I mean, I didn't see his shove. But, it's just one of those unfortunate things, and there's no protests from anyone else, is there? So I think that's a fair but disappointing decision.
Yeah, no protests from the Ware fans behind the goal either, I think. So that was probably the biggest key. But Ware coming forward again here. Kieran Bishop on the edge of the area, looks to put it over the top of Bunfield. Oh, and puts it onto the roof of the net. Holds his head in disbelief. And almost got Ware's equaliser.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a great goal, wouldn't it? And I mean, from this angle, I couldn't quite tell if that was going to dip under the crossbar or not. But unfortunately for us and for him, it remains 1-0 to Stotfold.
Certainly had the goalkeeper backpedaling. Bonfield wouldn't have gone near it if it would have dropped just a couple of metres short and gone into the net instead of onto the top of it. Alex Warman's header forward for Kieran Bishop again through Theo Ofori, but he's beaten to it by Dan Sears, who picks out Coppin. Alex Coppin's ball on this near side to the head of Darian Furlong. Alex Warman helps it on. Coppin tries again, but this time he slices it out of play. And it goes out on this near side in front of us as we sit in the stand here at Stotfold. Down the line by Darian Furlong. Coppin's header again. Further on by Kane, but it's put out of play by young Mitchell Gooch. And it'll be a throw in the Ware, which Darian Furlong will take. They've had the possession, they've had the chances, but they haven't taken them, and they trail by a goal to nil. Darian Furlong down the line, looking for Kieran Bishop, but straight onto Alex Coppin again. Halfway line, Jack Grosvenor. Control not good, and Connor Benson forward for Katie Bagg, but Fred Burbage is out there. Gooch will collect the ball though, and Lewis Franklin on that right hand side. Might have thought that Fred Burbage was a little bit off his line, but he's going for the corner flag down there, I think, and in the end just dribbles the ball out of play, and it will be a throw in to a Ware side as time is running out here. They trail by a goal to nil, 3 minutes plus time added on for stoppages to go as Kieran Bishop's beaten to the ball inside the centre circle, headed on by Franklin to Katie Bagg, who really hasn't got involved in the game. He has now though. Puts the ball down the line to Mitchell Gooch. Gooch is there with Jack Grosvenor. Gooch thumps the ball against the Ware central defender. Gets a round of applause from the Stotfold bench and wins a throw in on that far side of the field, which Lewis Franklin will saunter over to take the number 2. We'll let you know what's gone on in the rest of the division after the full-time whistle here. Hertford were 1-up at Tame at half-time. Cirencester and Bedford were 0-0 in the big game of the day. Wellingar and Waltham Abbey were down, home to AFC Dunstable, but Biggleswade Town could be the big winners at the top of the table with a 3-0 up at Kidlington at half-time. Fred Burbage from the goal away to our left-hand side. Long kick forward onto the head of Dan Sears, who hasn't missed a lot in the air this afternoon. the big Stotfold central defender, forward by Echo Coker to Kieran Bishop. Kieran Bishop, right hand side of the box, goes around James Peters. Kieran Bishop can see up the cross, does to the near post. Bonfield's beaten and it's in the back of the net. It's put in by Richard Ennin. Richard Ennin scores in the last minute of play here at Stotfold, and could Ware have grabbed the point right at the death?
Well, it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, you've got Joe there, Paul, they're jumping off the bench. Ware fans from behind the goal, as you can probably hear them with the Ware boys chant, and that's got Ware's backs up now. And how we've said about the chances they've had, we've said about the possession they've had. There's still another minute or so of normal time here, plus everything that's going to be added on. So let's see what the next few minutes brings, Pete.
Richard Ennin's third goal of the season, and Ware's yet another goal scored. They're 14th in the last 10 minutes of matches so far. Not over though. We've got defending to be done here. Was on this near side is Kane, puts the ball across the box. Back goes for the spectacular with the overhead kick. Lewis Franklin just drags it wide of a post. So certainly Kieran Bishop, I think, has made a little bit of a difference since he's come on. He was the one who provided the cross from which Richard Ennin snuck in there to score. And Fred Burbidge will take from the goal away to our left-hand side as we approach time added on for stoppages at the end of the game. Stotfold haven't had a home draw this season, but at the moment looks like they're going to get one here, unless someone can come up with a real grandstand finish. Inside the centre circle, Alex Warman goes up. George Ironton loses the ball, and then in the end it's Echo Coker who blasts it forward. James Peters forward, looking for Katie Bagg, heads it up in the air, and on this near side, he's good defending by Darian Furlong in the end as Callum Kane came in. And Kane gets himself a little bit involved with goalkeeper Fred Burbidge, but it's going to be a free kick to Ware inside that penalty area, so interesting to see whether Paul was it. Sorry, Simon.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was trying to have a wrestle with Darian as well when he got up there, and we know Darian isn't the smallest lads, and I mean, the thing is, I mean, Kane isn't exactly the biggest, so I think there was only going to be one loser in that wrestling match.
Yeah, Darian liked a bit of wrestling, didn't he? Had a bit with Jason Hallett in the Wiltham Abbey game, didn't he? So meanwhile, Echo Coker's gone down here, and Courtney's making an appearance from the bench as she comes across with a bag of magic tricks. Echo was going to make sure there's more time added on at the end of this one. I think on refs as somebody.
I think the ref's telling him he's got to move to the sideline.
Well, he's almost on the sideline, it's got to be said. We're looking at a substitution here possibly, and Ben Siggers has got himself stripped, so I think that Echo's going to go, and Ben Siggers will come out for the remainder of this one to play at right back, and indeed it is. Ben Siggers comes on and will slot in where Echo Coker vacated. Just be interesting, Paul's thoughts on this, whether they're happy beginning of the day to come here and get a point, bearing in mind Stotfold were top of the form league.
I think obviously he'll be disappointed. I mean, obviously the initial reaction is that you want 3 points, isn't it? But I think with the chances they've created and the possession they've had, he'll feel that they should have had the 3 points. But I'm sure as you say, Stotfold were top of the form table, and an away game, I'm sure he'll take the point.
Well, it's coming towards that time for man of the match, but this is so keenly balanced. I think we'll wait for the full-time whistle as John Clements picks it up on the far side against Dan Sears. He's done well to hold the ball off. Then the end finds George Ironton, who fires it in, but far too high, and bounces off the top of the fence and goes behind for a goal kick. Didn't see any sign of how long there was to be added on. We played 3 over the top, but I still think we had the delay for the substitution. Could be another couple still to go. Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, I've not seen a board go up. I mean, I know in the first half a stadium announcer said how much added time there was, and I've not heard him announce anything, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Well, it was keenly contested and 1-1 at Watson Park, and it's been keenly contested and 1-1 here. Nothing can separate Ware and Stotfold this season. First meetings between the two teams who played their football at different levels up to now, as Ben Siggers commits a foul inside the centre circle. Connor Vincent goes down. You feel Stotfold fancy this because they're pushing Frater and Dan Sears and James Peters forward. So no sense the home side are content with a draw here. Free kicks can be taken by Matt Ball just inside the Stotfold half. He's saying that he's another one of these former teammates. John Clements isn't far enough back, but in the end, Matt Ball's kick to the far post comes off Ryan Frater. A leg is swung out by Dan Sears, and then ball goes to the edge of the area where Fred Burbage will come up with it. Ware haven't settled for a point either because Fred wants to get on with it. Onto the head of Coppin, Lewis Franklin comes across and covers, and anywhere will do. Ironic cheer from the Ware fans behind the goal. We need another ball, and Ware have got a throw in at the death there. Darian Furlong will come across to take it on this right hand side. With this, Ware will move on to 40 points, and they'll have a +1 goal difference. It'll be interesting, the Cirencester result, of course, because the two teams meet this time next week. As throw comes across, up they go, ball bounces on the edge of the area, is hooked clear by Kane. Then Siggers gets a thump in the back from Connor Vincent, and this time it's a Ware free kick on the halfway line. Be interesting to see if they keep the big guns forward. They are as well. Darian Furlong staying there. George Ironton's going to take it. Jack Grosvenor's up from the back. Could this be last chance for Ware to get a win out of this one? 5 minutes over the top we've played so far. George Ironton's got Ben Siggers in acres of space down the right, but he's chipped it towards Bondfield, who shouts keeper as he has done all afternoon, and as he has done for the majority of the time, comes up with the ball as well. Quick ball forward. David Sota just about manages to stretch out the leg and get there, and the ball on the far side is retrieved by Mitchell Gooch. And then a loose ball is pounced upon here by James Peters. Plays it on this near side, but it goes out of play. Where we'll have a throw in. It's all a little bit frantic now. Both sides really feel they want to get 3 points out of this one. George Ironton delays a bit though, and Ben Siggers picks the ball up and will take the throw in. In fact, he's going to leave it to Darian Furlong. So 1 more minute, as we're being told. So this could be it as far as we're concerned. Down the line, looking for Kieran Bishop. Heads it on. John Clements is in there. Shoulder barge against Alex Coppin. It was shoulder to shoulder, which is fair enough. We've got another throw-in on this near side. Will they have time to take it? Darian Furlong is saying to Richard Ennin, that's mine. Ware boys is the cry from the goal on that far side. Darian Furlong into the box. Referee is poised to blow his whistle once this one goes in the box and we see the result of it. So we're going to get 1 point or 3. All rest with Darian Furlong and what he can do with a long throw. He's been ineffective, it's got to be said, for most of the afternoon. What can he do with this one? They're headed on by Alex Warman towards the far post, but didn't go anywhere. I think that is going to be that, and a referee is signalling as such. So Simon, how about man of the match?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one today, isn't it? I mean, I don't think there's been sort of like anyone. As I said, I think a couple of weeks ago, there's no one that stood head and shoulders above everyone else. But I think for the fact that I'll let you call us, Pete, and I'll get back to you in a minute.
Well, full-time whistle goes here at Stotfold, and it ends at 1-1. Henry Snee giving the home side the lead after 18 minutes with a shot from the edge of the area, took a deflection off Darian Furlong and wrong-footed Fred Burbage. Where at their opportunities, Joe Dearman glanced a corner off a goalpost, but it took until the 90th minute for them to draw level. Kieran Bishop's cross from the right-hand side, put in by Richard Ennin for his third goal of the season, and it was honours even here in our first ever visit to Stotfold.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think the trouble that this player caused a little bit in the first half, made a bit of a menace of himself. I think caused some problems, and second half as well. I was thinking before the goal that possibly this player, and then obviously pops up with the goal, and today I'm going to give man of the match to Richard Ennin.
Well done to Richard. And it is our 90 Minutes Live in association with the Easy Shelf Direct Man of the Match and the man that rescued a point for Ware with their 14th goal in the last 10 minutes of games. You can never write this team off. Well, that's been the cry really since Paul Wolsey's been manager, isn't it? You can never write it off. And one thing I can say actually is this is, I think, the first point away from home which has been witnessed by Paul's dog Bailey. So well done, Bailey. I can see him standing down there now, watching his owner go across the pitch, and I think he's got a little smile on his Labrador face there for the 1-1. As Ware go to applaud their supporters who have given them good backing once again, as they always do, behind the goal away to our right-hand side. The playoff push, well, it's very much still in focus, as it is for probably 10 or 11 teams in this division. Ware played 26, 40 points so far. They've got 10 games left this season. It took 58 to get a playoff place last season, but this season with the North Lee situation, etc., and also how close it is, I don't think it's going to take anything like that to get yourself a place in the playoffs. Simon's busy getting the scores together from the other games in Southern League Division 1 Central. Only 2 fell foul of the weather at Kempston, where they would have hoped to have had their game against Leighton Town go ahead after one against Bedford, and the one that was called off yesterday that was fairly predictable with the pitch at the New Erie was Biggleswade against Barton Rovers, which gives Biggleswade, they're really there with Welling Garden City as the two teams who played the least games in the division, have got plenty of time to catch up. So you're going to hide that one from me, but yes. let's see where the rest are.
Right, so for full times we've got for you in the game of the day. It's Cirencester Town 1, Bedford Town 1. Obviously, that was 0-0 at half time. Aylesbury United, they were winning 1-0 at half time against Hadley. They've held out being 2-1 winners. Game between Kidlington and Biggleswade Town. Biggleswade Town added another goal to their 3 in the first half to run out 4-1 winners. And Kings Langley, game between Kings Langley and Northley. The day to forget for Northley. They conceded 2 more in the second half and they are defeated 5-1. Tame United and nil, Hertford Town 1, so no goals in the second half, but a good 3 points for Hertford Town. And what was it we were saying about the game between Waltham Abbey and AFC Dunstable?
Yeah, I know.
It was 2-1 to AFC Dunstable at half time. You said about that barnstorming game, 6-4 at earlier in the season. It wasn't 6-4. It was 6-2. 6-2 to AFC Dunstable.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That actually is a really interesting result, because Waltham Abbey's goal difference taking a real pounding there then in terms of that. And good for AFC Dunstable. They move on to 39 and their goal difference takes a little bit of an improvement. So let's have a look. Top of the table still are Bedford, who've played 24, got 47 points. Biggleswade Town now moves second, played 24, and they have 44 points. Waltham Abbey dropped to third, still remain in third despite that thumping. They've played 28 though, they've got 44. North Lee dropped to fourth, having played 24 with 43. Cirencester remain fifth with 40 points from their 26 games, as have Ware, who are in sixth place with 40 points from their 26, and in seventh come AFC Dunstable, who are game in hand on Ware and just a point behind. They've got 39 from 25, so it's just a little bit of to-ing and froing at the top of the table. North Lee, predictably perhaps, dropping out of the top 5. Cirencester against Bedford, big game next week. Ware against Cirencester, I think, is massive.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge game for them, isn't it? Very important there for them to to pick up the 3 points. if they want to keep that place in the playoff, and also put another team in trouble in those playoff places. So it's very important that Ware take points off at Cirencester next week.
And that's where we'll be next week. We would love to be at the derby between Welwyn Garden City and Hertford. It's just one of those occasions where we really could clone 90 Minutes Live, be at both games. But I think you'll understand, 5th against 6th in this division and 2 teams going for the playoffs is certainly the match of the day in the division, and where we will be at Watson Park this time next Saturday. Just seen our friend Nicky Ironton down there talking to son George and John Clements.
Yep. Nick is down there with his. I'll say his assistant. Obviously, he's not managing anywhere at the moment, but Dave's down there with him as well, and it's always nice to see them. They give us a little wave as they see us. So I'm sure once we're wrapped up here, we'll go and have a little chinwag with them. Well,
we will wrap up here. Go to have a word with Paul Halsey, Mike Barkoff, or Bailey. You never know, but Paul's thoughts will be on 90 Minutes Live post-match. By the way, thanks for supporting 90 Minutes Live post-match. Got some really nice figures of people been listening to our post-match interviews with our 3 managers. So thank you for that. Thank you for wherever you've been listening on the globe. As you know, we have reached 25 countries, I think, so far this season. It was close, it was tight. We probably knew it was going to be, and there was nothing between the 2 teams. And I think it was a fair result that ended Stotfold 1, Ware 1. Have yourselves a good evening, and we will talk to you this time next week, live from 2:55, the big one at Watson Park, Ware against Cirencester. Thanks for joining us here on 90 Minutes Live in association with Easy Shelf Direct.